Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Friday. We have made it to the end of the work week, right? So, what are we talking about today? Well, I thought we'd kind of go back into how to run a shop and what you should be doing or could be doing at this point in time. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, the 26th of September, 2025. So, what are we talking about today? Well, I thought we'd talk about, you know, David, you brought it up as well with my friend in the automotive business of where they don't do engines and transmissions anymore. And if they do, it's like you, David, it's a brand new unit. And it can get really costly. And the way he does it as well is he wants the money up front for the parts. See, that was a big deal with him of doing rebuilds and transmission, sending it out to get rebuilt and this and that, was people would say they want it done, but when it finally got done and the bill was presented, they said they couldn't afford it. And you could only take just so many hits like that. And what correlation does that have with the small engine shops that are doing stuff like we do? We're kind of along the same lines. We don't do engine rebuilds anymore. And what we offer to the customer is either junk it or go with a new Predator engine from Harbor Freight. There's other engines online you can get. The idea of putting used parts on a machine are limited. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tires, rims, transmissions occasionally. The issue starts to come into play of if you put a used transmission on somebody's machine and it lasts a week, who pays to have it redone? And the shop is saying, well, we sold you one that didn't have any warranty on it. And then the customer, on the other hand, is saying, well, look, I've only had it a week. I haven't done very much with the yard and the transmission went. You should be responsible for this. And in essence, both are right, okay? So what's the better deal? The better deal is if you want a transmission put into your zero turn, you're going to have to pay the bucks. And with most zero turns, they have independent right and left, right? And so if your right one goes, you replace the right one. That can get really costly, especially if you're doing OEM stuff. I would say on average, a zero turn is probably right around $600-700 for a drive motor for the right or the left side. And with our commercial customers that have the independent hydraulic pumps and tanks and drive motors, we recommend that if it takes one side, your other side is probably close. Because what ends up happening is if you have two of them that are wearing together, if you're a contractor where you're out running that machine every day, you're putting a lot of hours on it, you have one side slowing down to where it's hard to keep it moving. So you go ahead and you order a new drive motor, a new hydraulic pump, and flush the system. You put it on and you're not going to be happy because the minute you go to take off, that new one is going to be very full of piss and vinegar, where your old one is going to seem sluggish like the other one did. So what we usually recommend to our guys that are doing that on a regular basis and making money at it is if you're going to replace one, replace both. And some of the systems have one hydraulic pump feeding two motors and one unit that holds the hydraulic or the hydrostatic transmission fluid, the hydraulic fluid. And what ends up happening is if one goes bad and you get all these shavings and stuff coming from the drive motor, it contaminates the whole system, so it affects the left and the right. So if you're that deep, you might as well replace both. And yes, when you start adding it all up, if you were to put together a machine based on parts, it'd be 3 times the cost of the unit when it's sold new. That's just being honest with you. When we have tillers come in and no compression and stuff like that, we recommend the Predator engine. They have them, I think it's 3 and 5 horse that you can get. For lawnmowers, you can get the big V's for right around 300-400. Like you, Amos. You were saying here a while back the lawnmower that you bought had a bad engine. And simply by replacing the engine, you've got one that's almost brand new now, which it is brand new. I mean, you got a new engine in it. You have to, as a shop, understand that even though what needs to take place isn't always what ends up taking place. And it's based on your customer's needs. And if you're going to do anything like an engine swap, transmission swap, you need that money up front. I have some really good customers that I've had over the years that are always right there with the money. I don't do it with them. But if you're a slow pay or you are new to me or I only get to see you once a year at most, then I'm going to ask for at least the parts up front. That way, if I have to eat it, it's just in labor. And for you guys that are running a one-man band, it's a big chunk out of your paycheck, isn't it? Because you're running a shop and you're basing how many hours you can work a week in that shop to provide a living. So you need that income coming in on a regular basis. So to tie up your labor isn't always the best answer either, is it? But in the end, if you at least get the customer to cough up the money for the parts, it's not going to be as hard a blow as it is if they haven't paid for anything and you go ahead and do it and you present them with a $800 bill and they're saying like, no, keep the lawnmower. That is where it really hurts, because then you're stuck trying to sell that lawnmower even though it's got a brand new engine in it. You're going to have to find the right person. And that brings us to the next segment of what I wanted to talk about today, which is, what are you doing in your shop right now? It doesn't matter if you're in automotive, small engine repair, any kind of repair. What are you doing right now? Are you still staying busy enough in the shop? And for us, we're starting to slow down. But thank God, man upstairs, we've been able to accrue quite a few machines for this winter that are bigger jobs. And all I can do is thank God for that. Because last couple of years have been kind of real thin pickings per se. But this year I think I've got 9 of them lined up to come in to do winter work. And what I do with these people is I give them a discount, because the winter is our slowest time. I'll be honest with you. So during that time, I'm looking for stuff that needs clutches, to replace a clutch in a unit, to do major transmission work, to do engine overhauls, to do, my tractor hasn't started in 20 years. Can you make it run? That's a great winter project because it's going to cost some money to get it where it needs to be, right? So it's time consuming and it ties up money. Now, in saying that, it also, when it comes to the bigger jobs, I haven't in the past, but I'm considering it this year, of having the customers pay up front for the parts. Once we figure out what we need for a parts list, then presenting that to our customer and having them put at least half down on the job to start it. That way, it should end up being, when you do work, most of the time, if you take what the parts are and double it, that's about what you're going to make on a job. You can do it by the hour as well, but like contractors that do building trades and stuff, they take whatever the cost of the material is and double it. At least that's how they used to do it. For us, I know that to put in a new clutch and pressure plate, because we've done this before. And this goes right along the same lines as what you were saying, Dave. Is somebody says, well, I just want a new clutch disc put in. Well, let me tell you something. If we have that tractor split, it's an automatic $1,200. I already know that. I already know what the hours are that's involved in it. You're looking at $1,200. Now, if you want us to put a $89 clutch disc in and button it all back up together and hope for the best, that ain't gonna happen. What we as a shop end up doing is we order as a kit a new clutch, pressure plate, disc, throwout bearing, pilot bearing. Everything is new when we put it in. That way we know that if we put it all back together and it ends up the clutch disc wasn't your issue from the get-go, it was your pressure plate out of whack or something busted on it or one of the fingers, that we know that we have everything in there new. And a clutch disc is $89. I can usually get the kits, everything complete, for a little over $200. So $200 is a better deal of going to the customer and saying, look, everything is brand new in there. Everything should last the lifetime for what you need it for. Just going in for a clutch disc of an $89 part, we don't do. When it comes to this time of year, in between the summer and going into the fall winter, the other thing that I'm doing is I'm looking around at good used lawnmowers that need work, or buying stuff that I know doesn't need a lot of work, but that I can invest my money into. It's going to sit in one of the bays in the outbuilding for the winter, but it will give me an income in the spring when people are looking for lawnmowers. I don't pick up junk. It's got to be in decent shape, good looking, presentable. The hood, the seat needs to be in good shape, or if I have a good seat I can replace it with, that's doable. But it's got to run and drive and need very little done to it. And most of those machines that I get, that I do where I invest, are coming from customers that are buying new. Because what I've told my regular customers is, if you're going to buy a new machine, do it in the fall of the year. And they look at me like, why? I said, because these places do not want to have to store a machine all winter long to try to resell it in the spring. So they're going to discount the prices on those units to get them cleared before the first of the year. That's the time to buy. Not in the spring of the year when they bring them all out and you have a gazillion customers fighting over mowers. It's in the fall when most people aren't thinking about next spring. They're thinking about snow blowing. And these businesses know that. And there's 2 shops that I know of locally that are floor planning, and they've got a lot of excess models, and those are going to get dropped, deep discounted, to get them off the lot, or at least that's what I would do, is deep discount them to get them to hell off my loan that I've got, because that inventory counts against you at the end of the year, tax time. What you have physically for inventory on premise. And that includes floor planning. That includes inventory of stock, and as far as filters and all that stuff. You're supposed to declare what you started with and what you end with at the end of the year. That should be something you're already doing. But no, this is the right time to be picking up rototillers that are in decent shape that people are just looking for extra money to pay school and land taxes. I just paid school taxes on 5 properties, and then land will be coming here in January. Because what's happening right now is people are looking at what they don't need and not thinking I'm going to need it in the spring, so they sell it short term now, and then they have to replace it in the spring of the year. But now is when the time is right for buying. Selling is in the spring of the year. If you can pick up units to bring into your shop that you can put a little bit of money into and then store inside, because when I'm buying, I already have particular customers in mind. Because I have my customers will say, if you see a certain model or if you see something that's in really good shape, I'll be looking for one in the spring. Because we've kept a lot of our customers, we have to laugh because the customers say, can you get me one more year out of it? And it's a POS, but we get them one more year. And then the next year is, can you get us one more year? And we're like, you said that 5 years ago. Those are the customers that I'm looking for, that I know that likes John Deere's. They like the tractor style with the steering wheel and that stuff. I already know who I'm looking for when it comes down. And what I do is I have a notebook right next to my desk, and I use it for a number of things. I use it for phone messages, for people calling. I'm writing down their name, phone number, why they're calling, and then I put a line underneath it and start the next. What I'm also doing is when a customer tells me that they're looking for something particular, I write that down. And I go back through the pages quite often. And especially when I'm adding phone numbers to our phone book that we have, which is another notebook that's got everybody's phone number, and I'm transposing them over to that. I'm also looking at what our customer is looking for at a set given time. And if I find something at an auction, or one of my customers is bought a brand new one, they're looking to unload the other one, I will give them a call. And a lot of times it's a good fit. I already know what my customer wants. So finding what they want is pretty easy, I guess. That's what you should be doing right now. Now, Jason, you can add into the conversation of what to bring into the shop. We don't do a lot with weed eaters, blowers, because they just don't sell that well. And people are going to battery operated. I used to sell a lot of Cub Cadet 4-strokes, 2-strokes and 4-strokes, weed trimmers. And I was getting them from Tractor Supplies. We did 5 stores. And any of them that had issues, they got brought back for whatever reason. The store gave the customer a brand new one, and then they would wholesale these units out to us. And we would go through them, fix whatever the issue was, and resell them in the shop. It was a hard sell, I'll be honest with you. Because people, if you're going to pay $200, you're pretty much looking at wanting a new one versus a used one. So on that note, you guys have a great Friday. What are you doing right now when it comes to the shop? And when it comes to the bigger jobs, are you doing engine rebuilds still, or are you just swapping with brand new in with a warranty that comes from the manufacturer? So on that note, you guys have a great Friday. Tomorrow I'm going to an auction. Hopefully I'll come home with a loader tractor. If not, then hopefully I don't spend any money. You guys have a great Friday and a great weekend if I don't see you before Monday.